Commander Alex Morgan gripped the edge of the command console as another blast rocked the U.S. Defiant. Warning lights flashed across every screen. The ship's alarms wailed. Through the main viewport, he watched as 3 Vraxian warships circled like hungry sharks. "Shields at 12%, Commander," Susan Hayes shouted from the weapons station. Her fingers flew across the controls, trying to reroute power. "Engine 3 is gone," Kyle Dunn reported from engineering. His young face was streaked with sweat and engine grease. "Engine 2 failing. We can't take another hit like that." Alex wiped blood from a cut above his eye. Captain Ellis was dead. So were half the bridge crew. Now command fell to him, and he had to make an impossible choice. "How many of our people are still alive?" he asked. Peter Garza at Communications checked his display. Life signs showing 126 crew members, sir, out of 340. Alex closed his eyes for a moment. "So many lost already." "Send the evacuation order," he said. "All hands to escape pods. Immediately." "Sir?" Susan looked up in shock. "We're abandoning the Defiant." "We're saving who we can," Alex replied. "That's an order, Lieutenant." The ship rocked again. More alarms blared. "Hull breach on decks 4 through 7, Kyle shouted. "We're breaking apart." Alex hit the ship-wide comm. "This is Commander Morgan. All hands abandon ship. This is not a drill. Get to escape pods now." The Defiant was humanity's most advanced warship, the pride of the fleet. 3 years into the war with the Vraxians, it had become a symbol of hope, and now it was dying. "Communications, send our location to Earth Command," Alex ordered. "Tell them we've engaged the enemy and are evacuating." "The Vraxians are jamming our long-range signals," Peter said. "I can't get through." Another blast hit. The lights flickered and died, replaced by the dim red glow of emergency power. "Move," Alex yelled to his remaining bridge crew. "Everyone to the escape pods." They rushed through corridors filled with smoke. Crew members ran in all directions. Some helped the wounded. The ship groaned around them like a dying animal. At a junction, Security Chief Nathan Cole met them with a group of survivors. "Decade is gone," he reported. "We've sealed off the sections we can. Pods on the starboard side are launching." "Good," Alex said. "Get these people to port side evacuation." The ship lurched violently, throwing everyone against the wall. A support beam crashed down, separating Alex and Nathan from the others. 6 hours had passed since the U.S. Defiant broke apart. In the sealed compartment, Commander Alex Morgan counted their resources. They had emergency rations for 2 weeks, if they were careful. The air recyclers were working on minimal power. Water would last 10 days. "Status report," he said, looking at the small group around him. Nathan Cole checked the security systems again. Hull integrity holding at 68%. No major breaches. We're lucky this section was built to withstand heavy damage. In the dim emergency lighting, Alex could see the faces of all 6 survivors. Besides himself and Nathan, there was Lieutenant Susan Hayes, who had found her way to their section through maintenance tunnels before they sealed. Ensign Kyle Dunn from engineering had been working to stabilize the power when the final attack hit. Dr. Olivia Wright had been thrown back from her escape pod during the last explosion, and Communications Officer Peter Garza had been sealed in with them when the emergency doors. 4 days passed slowly in the drifting ship fragment. Kyle worked constantly on the thrusters, trying to squeeze every bit of power from them. Their course was set toward the uncharted planet, their only hope for survival. "Entering the planet's gravity well," Kyle announced. His face was tired but focused. "Thrusters ready for landing sequence." Alex looked at the others. Everyone was strapped into makeshift seats, bracing for a rough ride. "Start the sequence," he ordered. The thrusters fired in careful bursts. Their small section of the once mighty warship shuddered. Metal groaned as they pushed through the outer atmosphere. "Hull temperature rising," Nathan warned. "The outer plating wasn't designed for planetary entry." Susan managed the power distribution, redirecting power to structural integrity fields. Outside the viewport, the blackness of space gave way to burning orange as friction heated their vessel. The shaking grew worse. A panel near Peter sparked and burst into flames. Olivia grabbed an extinguisher and put it out quickly. "We're coming in too fast," Kyle shouted over the noise. "The thrusters can't slow us enough." Alex looked at their trajectory. They were headed for a heavily forested area. Not ideal, but better than mountains or ocean. "Deploy the emergency drag fins," he ordered. It was a desperate move. Kyle hit the controls. With a grinding sound, metal panels extended from their hull, catching more air resistance. The shaking became violent. Warning alarms blared from every working console. "Brace for impact." Alex yelled as the ground rushed up to meet them. The crash was deafening. Trees snapped like twigs as their vessel plowed through the forest. Metal tore and bent. Everyone was thrown against their restraints. A final jolt, and then stillness. For a long moment, no one moved. Dust and smoke filled the air. "Sound off," Alex croaked, tasting blood in his mouth. Everyone alive. One by one, they responded. Cuts, bruises, and Susan had a broken arm, but they had all survived. Olivia immediately began treating their injuries while Nathan checked the hull integrity. "We're mostly intact," he reported, "but we won't be flying again without major repairs." Alex nodded. They had known this was likely a one-way trip to the planet's surface. "What about outside?" he asked. "Can we breathe the air?" Peter checked the external sensors that still functioned. Atmosphere is 22% oxygen, slightly higher than Earth. Nitrogen, carbon dioxide, trace gases, nothing immediately toxic. Temperature is about 25 degrees Celsius. "Let's not rush," Alex cautioned. "We'll run full checks before anyone goes outside." Hours later, after confirming the air was safe and treating their injuries, they opened the emergency hatch. Warm air flowed in, smelling of earth and strange plants. Alex was the first to step outside. The forest around them was both familiar and alien. Trees with purple-tinged leaves stretched toward a yellow-orange sky. Their ship had carved a long trench through the vegetation before coming to rest in a small clearing. "It's beautiful," Susan said, her arm now in a makeshift sling. Kyle examined the exterior damage. "We might be able to salvage some systems. The communications array is mostly intact." "Good," Alex said. "Our priority is to establish contact with Earth or any human vessels." They set up a camp near their crashed vessel. Nathan organized security, setting up perimeter sensors from the ship's systems. Olivia cataloged plants that might have medical uses. Peter worked on the communications equipment while Kyle tried to restore power systems. As dusk approached, bringing a stunning display of colors to the alien sky, Alex made a surprising discovery near a stream about 50 meters from their crash site. "Everyone," he called. "You need to see this." The others gathered around what looked like a small path through the underbrush. It was too regular to be natural. "That's artificially made," Nathan said, kneeling to examine it. "And this," Alex pointed to marks in the soft soil. "Footprints, but not human. Three-toed impressions, larger than a human foot." "We're not alone here," Susan whispered. As if in answer, a soft sound came from the dense forest beyond the path. Everyone froze, listening. It came again, a melodic series of clicks and whistles. "Get back to the ship," Alex ordered quietly. "No sudden movements." They retreated slowly. As they reached their vessel, Alex saw movement in the trees. Something was watching them. "Prepare for first contact," he told his crew, "and hope they're friendly." Morning came with strange bird-like calls echoing through the purple forest. Inside their crashed ship section, the 6 humans prepared for whatever waited outside. Alex had established a watch rotation through the night. No one had approached their ship, but they felt eyes on them constantly. "We need to make contact." Alex said as they gathered for a morning meal of emergency rations. "We can't just hide in here forever." Susan checked her sidearm. "We should be ready for anything, friendly or hostile." "I don't think they're hostile," Olivia said. "They could have attacked during the night if they wanted to." Nathan nodded in agreement. "They're curious, cautious, just like we would be if something fell from their sky." Alex made his decision. "Olivia, Peter, and I will go out and try to make contact. Susan, Kyle, and Nathan will stay with the ship." They prepared carefully. Alex took only a small sidearm, hidden under his jacket. Olivia brought medical supplies, and Peter carried a universal translator device, salvaged from the communications array. It wouldn't know the alien language, but it could begin to analyze speech patterns. They walked slowly down the path they had discovered the previous day. The forest was alive with sounds and movements. Creatures similar to insects buzzed around them. Small animals scurried away as they approached. After 20 minutes of walking, the path opened into a wider clearing. They stopped at the edge, amazed by what they saw. Structures rose from the forest floor, built around and between the purple trees. They were made of a material that looked like polished stone or metal, flowing in elegant curves, nothing like the angular human architecture. "It's beautiful," Olivia whispered. Movement caught their attention. Figures emerged from the structures. They were tall and slender, with blue-green skin that seemed to shimmer in the dappled sunlight. They had 2 arms, 2 legs, and faces with large, expressive eyes. Different enough from humans to be alien, but similar enough to recognize intelligence. 3 of the aliens approached slowly. They carried no visible weapons. Their movements were graceful and deliberate. Alex stepped forward. He raised his empty hands to show he meant no harm. "We come in peace," he said, knowing they wouldn't understand his words, but hoping his tone would convey his meaning. The lead alien stopped 2 meters away. It was taller than Alex by a head. It made a series of clicking and whistling sounds. Peter's translator recorded everything but couldn't interpret yet. The alien pointed to itself and made a sound. "Keelan." Alex understood. He pointed to himself. "Alex." The alien repeated, "Alex." Then it pointed to its companions and made more sounds. Alex introduced Olivia and Peter. The aliens seemed to understand this basic exchange. The one called Keelan gestured for them to follow. After a moment's hesitation, Alex nodded, and they walked toward the alien settlement. Inside one of the curved structures, they found a space that seemed designed for meetings. The aliens offered them cups of clear liquid. Olivia scanned it discreetly with a medical device and nodded slightly to Alex. It was safe. The water tasted sweet and refreshing. As they drank, more aliens gathered, watching them with clear curiosity. Keelan began to draw on a flat surface. First, the planet they were on. Then a simple spaceship. The alien pointed to the humans, then to the ship, then made a falling motion with its hand. "They understand we crashed here," Peter said. Alex nodded and tried to communicate further. He drew Earth, then the Defiant, then the Vraxian ships attacking. The aliens watched intently. When he finished, Keelan made a sound of what seemed like understanding. Then Keelan drew something that made Alex's heart race. Vraxian ships, perfectly detailed, hovering over this planet. The alien's face showed clear emotion. Fear. "They know the Vraxians," Olivia whispered. Keelan spoke rapidly to the other aliens. One left quickly and returned with an object. It was clearly advanced technology, a device of some kind. The alien activated it, and a holographic image appeared in the air between them. It showed Vraxian ships attacking a planet that must have been the aliens' homeworld. Destruction, escape, and finally, settlement on this hidden world. They're refugees, Peter realized. They've been hiding from the Vraxians. Alex looked at Keelan with new understanding. "We have a common enemy," he said. Keelan seemed to understand the sentiment, if not the words. The alien extended a four-fingered hand toward Alex. Alex reached out and took it. Their first handshake was awkward but meaningful. "I think we just made an alliance," he said to his companions. 3 days passed since first contact with the Thelians, as the aliens called themselves. Communication improved rapidly, with Peter's translator device adapting to their language. The humans learned the Thelians had fled their home system 20 years ago, when the Vraxians destroyed their main world. They'd been in hiding all this time. Alex explained to the others back at their ship, building their society in secret and developing technology, Kyle added with excitement. He had spent hours examining Thelian devices with growing amazement. Their stealth systems are incredible. That's why no one has found this planet. They've cloaked the entire world from long-range sensors. Susan looked impressed. No wonder the Vraxians haven't found them. But they found us easily enough, Nathan pointed out. Our crash wasn't exactly subtle. Keelan and 3 other Thelians arrived at the crash site. They'd brought food and supplies. Over the past days, a careful friendship had formed between the two species. "We have completed our scans of your vessel," Keelan said through the translator. The device still made the alien speech sound mechanical, but it worked. "We believe we can help restore some systems. Can we repair it enough to fly again?" Alex asked. Keelan made a gesture the humans had learned meant uncertainty, not in its current form, but perhaps something different. The alien activated a holographic projector. It showed their ship section, but modified with Thelian technology. "A hybrid ship," Kyle whispered, studying the design. "Using our power systems with their stealth technology. It would be small," Keelan explained, "but capable of spaceflight and invisible to Vraxian sensors." Alex felt hope rising in his chest. "How long would it take to build?" 3 of your weeks, with both our teams working together." While this conversation happened on the planet, aboard an Earth reconnaissance vessel called the Huntress, Captain Alan Rodriguez studied star charts of the sector where the Defiant had been destroyed. "Still nothing on long-range scans, Captain," his sensor officer reported. Alan frowned. He and Commander Morgan had been friends since Academy days. He refused to believe Alex was dead without proof. "Keep scanning," he ordered, "and check for any unusual readings, anything that doesn't seem natural." Admiral Winters had given him this mission personally, against the recommendations of other officers. "Find out what really happened," she had told him, "and if there are survivors, bring them home." Back on the planet, work began on the hybrid ship. Kyle and the Thelian engineers made rapid progress. Susan helped adapt the weapons systems. Nathan and Peter worked on communications that could pierce the stealth field when needed. One evening, as Alex helped Olivia catalog plants with medicinal properties, Keelan approached them with a serious expression. "There is something you must know," the alien said. "Something we have not told you." The Thelian led them to an underground chamber beneath the main settlement. Inside was a massive computer system. "This is our intelligence network," Keelan explained. "We monitor Vraxian communications across this sector." Alex stared at the displays showing ship movements and communications data. "You've been spying on them all this time." "Survival requires information," Keelan said simply. 3 days ago, we intercepted this." A recording played. It was in the harsh Vraxian language, but the translator provided human words. "Strange energy readings detected in Sector 7. Scout fleet dispatched to investigate potential Thelian activity. Arrival in 6 days." Alex felt cold dread settle in his stomach. "They're coming here." "We believe so," Keelan confirmed. "Your crash may have created energy signatures they detected, or perhaps it is just routine scanning. Either way, they will find us unless we act." "How many ships?" Alex asked. "A small scout fleet. 3 warships with support vessels." Alex thought quickly. "We need to speed up work on our hybrid ship, and we need a plan." Keelan's large eyes focused intently on Alex. "We have existed in hiding for 20 years, running when necessary, but perhaps that time is ending." "What do you mean?" Your military tactics are different from ours. More direct. Perhaps together, we can do more than hide. Perhaps we can fight. Alex considered this carefully. 6 humans and a settlement of peaceful aliens against Vraxian warships seemed like impossible odds. But he thought of Earth, believing all hands on the Defiant were lost. Of the Vraxians, thinking they had won a major victory. Yes, he said finally. Together, we might have a chance. Not just to survive, but to strike back. Keelan made the gesture that Alex now recognized as agreement. Then let us prepare, the alien said. We have much work to do before they arrive. 5 days of frantic work transformed their crash ship section into something new. The humans named it the Ghost for its stealth capabilities. It wasn't pretty. The original human hull was now covered with Thelian technology that bent light and absorbed sensor scans. The inside was cramped but functional. It's ready for a test flight, Kyle announced, wiping sweat from his forehead. He hadn't slept much for days. Alex inspected their creation. The Ghost was small, about 1/5 the size of their original ship section, but it had engines, weapons, and most importantly, the Thelian stealth system. Let's take it up, Alex decided. Susan, Kyle, and Nathan joined him for the test flight. Peter and Olivia stayed on the ground with the Thelians to monitor from below. The Ghost lifted off smoothly. Kyle guided it upward through the atmosphere. The ship hummed and vibrated, but held together. Stealth systems active, Susan reported from the weapons station. According to these readings, we're completely invisible to standard sensors. They reached orbit and circled the planet. From space, they could see the Thelian cloaking field, a slight shimmer around the entire world that would confuse any passing ships. Remarkable technology, Nathan said. If Earth had this kind of stealth system. That's exactly what I was thinking, Alex replied. This could change the war. As they prepared to return to the surface, an alarm sounded. A ship had appeared at the edge of the system. Vraxian scout, Susan confirmed, checking the sensors. Just one ship, probably the advance of their fleet. They're early, Alex said grimly. The main fleet will be right behind them. They haven't detected us, Kyle said. The stealth is working. Alex made a quick decision. Let's see what this ship can do. Take us closer, but stay at maximum sensor range. The Ghost moved silently toward the Vraxian scout. It was a medium-sized vessel with the distinctive pointed design of Vraxian ships. They watched as it performed scanning sweeps of the system. They're focusing on the 4th planet, Nathan said. Not here. Good, Alex said. That gives us more time. Take us back. When they landed, they shared their observations with the Thelians. Keelan called a meeting of the settlement's leaders. The scout ship will report soon, the alien explained. Then the main fleet will come directly here. We must be ready. The Ghost performed perfectly, Alex told them. But it's small. We can hurt them, but we can't fight a whole fleet. One of the elder Thelians spoke up. For centuries, our people have chosen peace over war. But sometimes, to preserve peace, one must act decisively. The elder activated a hologram showing the hidden facility built into a mountain range on the far side of the planet. We have weapons, Keelan explained, seeing the human's surprise. Not many, but powerful. Created for a desperate time. Like now, Alex said, understanding. They spent the night planning. The Thelians would activate defensive systems around their settlement. The Ghost would engage from orbit, using its stealth to strike and disappear. If they could confuse and separate the Vraxian ships, they might have a chance. As dawn broke, Peter detected a new signal. His face lit up with excitement. It's a human transmission, he exclaimed. An Earth ship just entered the system. Can you contact them? Alex asked urgently. Not without revealing our position to the Vraxians, Peter said. Their scout is still out there. Alex looked at the sensor readings. The Earth ship was the Huntress, a reconnaissance vessel, and it was heading straight toward the Vraxian scout. They don't know the Vraxians are here, Susan realized. They'll be ambushed. In the command chair of the Huntress, Captain Alan Rodriguez watched the stars through the main viewport. Anything unusual, sensors? He asked. Nothing yet, sir, came the reply. Wait. Contact dead ahead. Vraxian ship. Alan straightened in his chair. Battle stations. Shields up. The Vraxian scout had spotted them too. It changed course, moving to intercept. A moment later, it fired its forward weapons. The Huntress rocked from the impact. Alan gripped his chair arms. Return fire, he ordered, and get us out of their range. On the planet, Alex watched the battle beginning on their sensors. His friend was up there, outgunned and surprised. Prepare for launch, he told his crew as they ran for the Ghost. We're joining this fight. Keelan stepped forward. We will fight with you. The time for hiding is over. The Ghost shot into space like an arrow. Alex sat in the command seat with Susan at weapons, Kyle at engineering, and Nathan handling sensors. They watched as the Huntress tried to evade the Vraxian scout ship's attacks. The Huntress is taking heavy damage, Nathan reported. Their shields are down to 30%. Can we contact them without the Vraxians detecting us? Alex asked. Peter's voice came through the comm system from the planet below. I found a way to create a tight beam transmission. The Vraxians won't detect it if you get close enough. Taking us in, Kyle said, guiding the Ghost toward the battle. The Vraxian ship fired another volley at the Huntress. The Earth ship returned fire, but its weapons seemed to do little damage against the enemy shields. Get us within 500 meters of the Huntress, Alex ordered. Susan, prepare the main gun. The Thelians had modified their original weapons with technology that could disrupt Vraxian shields. They hadn't tested it yet. It was time to find out if it worked. In position, Kyle announced. 500 meters from the Huntress. The Vraxian ship is on the other side, still firing. Peter, send the transmission now, Alex said. On the bridge of the Huntress, a communication officer called out in surprise. Captain, we're receiving a transmission. It's coming from directly beside us, but there's nothing there. Alan Rodriguez frowned. Put it through. Alex's voice filled the Huntress bridge. Huntress, this is Commander Alex Morgan of the U.S. Defiant. We are in a stealth ship near your position. Continue evasive maneuvers. We're about to engage the enemy. Alan's face showed shock and then joy. Alex, you're alive? Where are you? No time to explain. Just be ready to follow our lead. On the Ghost, Susan locked weapons on the Vraxian ship. Target acquired. Fire, Alex ordered. The modified weapon fired a blue-white beam that sliced through space. When it hit the Vraxian shields, they flickered and destabilized. Direct hit, Susan called out. Their shields are down to 50% from just one shot. The Vraxian ship turned, firing blindly in their direction. But the Ghost was already moving, its stealth systems keeping it invisible. They can't see us, but they know something's there, Nathan said. Susan, target their weapons array. Fire when ready. The Ghost fired again. This time, the beam struck the Vraxian ship's main weapons cluster. Explosions rippled across its hull. Their primary weapons are offline, Susan reported with satisfaction. Alex opened the channel to the Huntress again. Captain Rodriguez, target their engines now. Their shields are weakened. The Huntress responded immediately, firing a barrage of torpedoes at the Vraxian engines. The explosions were bright against the blackness of space. The Vraxian ship is disabled, Nathan confirmed. But their victory was short-lived. Alarms sounded on the Ghost's sensors. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL at the edge of the system, Nathan announced grimly. It's the Vraxian main fleet, 3 warships and 4 support vessels. They're early, Alex said. They had expected one more day to prepare. Kyle turned to Alex. Should we retreat to the planet? Alex thought quickly. Hiding wasn't an option anymore. The Vraxians would find the planet now. No, we make a stand here. He opened a channel to the Huntress. Alan, there's a cloaked planet in this system with allies who can help us. Follow our coordinates. He then contacted the planet. Keelan, the Vraxian fleet has arrived. Activate all defenses. Already done, Keelan replied. And we've launched our fighters. Fighters. Alex hadn't known the Thelians had space fighters. Small but effective, Keelan said. And all with stealth capabilities. From the planet rose a dozen small craft, barely visible even to the Ghost's sensors. They joined the Ghost in orbit, forming a protective screen around the planet. The Huntress is following us, Kyle reported. And the Vraxian fleet is advancing, Nathan added. 7 minutes until they're in weapons range. Alex looked at his small crew. They had survived when no one thought they could. They had made unexpected allies. And now they faced their greatest challenge. This isn't the ship we started with, he told them. But today, we remind the Vraxians that humanity isn't so easy to destroy. Susan smiled grimly, and we show them that sometimes what they think they've destroyed comes back to haunt them. The Ghost and its small fleet of allies moved to intercept the coming Vraxian armée. Against the odds, the battle for survival had become a chance for victory. The Vraxian fleet approached in attack formation. 3 large warships led the way, with 4 smaller support vessels behind them. Against them stood the damaged Huntress, the tiny Ghost, and 12 Thelian fighters. They're scanning the area, Nathan reported, looking for the planet and our ships. Stay in stealth mode, Alex ordered. Let them get closer. Alex's plan was simple but risky. The Thelian fighters would attack the support ships from multiple directions. The Ghost would target the lead warship's engines, and the Huntress would wait until the Vraxians were distracted before attacking. 30 seconds until they're in range, Susan announced from weapons. Alex opened a channel to all ships. Remember, hit and move. Don't stay in one place. Our advantage is they can't see us coming. The Vraxian ships slowed as they entered the area where their scout had been disabled. They clearly expected a trap but couldn't detect anything. Now, Alex ordered. The Thelian fighters broke formation, each choosing a target. They fired their weapons simultaneously. Blue-white energy beams struck the Vraxian ships from all directions. Shields flickered. The Vraxians returned fire, but hit nothing but empty space. The Ghost accelerated toward the lead warship. It was massive compared to their small vessel, like a shark against a minnow. But the minnow had teeth. Fire when ready, Susan, Alex said. Susan locked weapons on the warship's main engine. Firing. The Ghost's beam cut through space, striking perfectly at the junction between the warship's engine and power core. Explosions rippled along its hull. The ship began to list to one side. Direct hit, Kyle shouted. Evasive maneuvers, Alex ordered as the Vraxians fired blindly around them. The Huntress joined the attack, targeting the damaged warship with everything it had. The combined assault was too much. The Vraxian ship's lights flickered and died. One down, Susan called. But the Vraxians were adapting. They began firing in patterns, trying to catch the invisible attackers. One Thelian fighter was hit and spiraled away, damage. They're releasing some kind of energy field, Nathan warned. It's interfering with our stealth systems. The Ghost flickered into partial visibility for a second before the systems compensated. They're trying to make us visible, Alex realized. All ships, change your attack patterns. Don't be predictable. The battle intensified. 2 more Thelian fighters were hit. One of the Vraxian support ships exploded after taking multiple hits. The Ghost narrowly avoided a direct hit that would have destroyed it. The tide began to turn when the Huntress suffered a devastating hit to its bridge. Communications with Captain Rodriguez went silent. Elan, Alex called, but there was no response. The Ghost shook as a glancing hit caught their rear section. Stealth systems failing, Kyle reported. We can't take another hit like that. Alex made a desperate decision. Set course directly for the second warship. Maximum speed. Sir, Kyle looked shocked. Do it, Alex said firmly. Susan, pour everything into the forward shields and weapons. The Ghost shot toward the massive Vraxian warship like a bullet. As they approached, the enemy ship became visible through the viewport, growing larger by the second. Prepare to fire all weapons, Alex ordered. Target their command center. The Ghost's weapons charged to maximum power. The Vraxian ship began to fire at them as their stealth failed completely. Now, Alex shouted. Every weapon on the Ghost fired simultaneously. The combined energy pierced the Vraxian shields and struck the command center. The warship's bridge exploded in a ball of fire. Pull up, Alex ordered as they skimmed the surface of the enemy ship. Kyle yanked the controls, barely avoiding a collision. The Ghost shot past the warship as secondary explosions rippled across its hull. It's breaking apart, Nathan reported. They're done. The last Vraxian warship, seeing 2 of its companions destroyed and most of its support ships damaged or lost, began to retreat. The Thelian fighters pursued, harassing it until it jumped to FTL and disappeared. Silence fell on the Ghost's bridge. They had won, against impossible odds. The Huntress, Alex said, remembering his friend. Take us to the Huntress. They found the Earth ship badly damaged, but still intact. Emergency systems were working. Most of the crew had survived, including Captain Rodriguez, though he was injured. When Alex boarded the Huntress, the Earth crew stared at him in disbelief. To them, he and his crew were ghosts returned from the dead. You were supposed to be destroyed with the Defiant, Alan said as medical staff treated his wounds. Alex smiled tiredly. That's what the Vraxians thought too. It was their mistake.